All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the
Happening.
CBC Wizdumb Hour, number 167 for Friday, April 8th, 2022. I'm Steve Witchell in New Orleans.
It's Tony B coming to you live from New Jersey. What's happening in America and beyond?
America and beyond. What's up, everybody? Coming on in, saying, just joining us in the beginning here. Say hello. Let us know where you're from.
What's up?
And we will say hello back to you. We're sponsored for this episode again by Bandzoogle. If you need a website for your band or your musical project, and you do, websites are still the number one way to get yourself out there looking professional. Number one, like Tony just demonstrated. Bandzoogle.com and use the promo code CoverBandCentral for a free 30-day trial. There's also a link in the description. You can click that. Check out Bandzoogle. They're awesome, and you'll be awesome because you're with them.
Bandzoogle.
That's right. Michelle is in Whitman, Arizona. Hello, Michelle.
What's up, Michelle?
I'm always interested in seeing the first person in the comments where they're from.
Whitman, Arizona.
Arizona made it
down.
first. Leo in Minnesota is back. What's up, Leo?
Yep. St. Cloud.
Yes. St. Cloud, Minnesota on a Friday night.
Episode 167, Steve. 167 episodes we've been doing this for now.
Crazy.
67
and
more than 100.
I still can't get my light situation fixed.
No, you gotta get working on that.
Jeff is in Iowa. Neville Pritchard in Palm Bay, Florida, and he says, Hey
now.
Christine's up by you in New York City.
Yeah.
And we got Dennis in the Philippines. Kai in Brazil.
Vacationing.
And then
he's come back to Jersey. All right.
And he comes back to Jersey.
Yeah.
Love it. Julia's in Nova Scotia, Canada. Angela in Modesto, California. Marianne back in Ireland.
What's up, Marianne?
Marianne's one of the moderators in the group, and Scott is in North Carolina. Love it. All right, so another week of madness for me, and
as is every week.
Every week, playing 4 nights a week in
it's
lovely
really madness,
New Orleans.
Steve. It's really like a blessing. It's engagement of life.
It is that. Right, that's in Arkansas. It is a blessing. It is sometimes exhausting mentally and physically, but
get over that. Get a little sleep. You're good to go.
Kai said, "Hey man, you've got great hair," but I don't know if he's talking about me or you. I think he's probably talking about you.
Yours is hidden under your hat, so he probably knows you have great hair. It's just undercover right now. You know what I'm saying?
Because your hair is a
My
work
hair's
of art
wailing tonight. Yeah, it's definitely it's
a work of art. Is it like that all day?
Yeah,
all day. And do you have to
all day every day?
Do you have to go in and redo anything to make it stay that way?
Nope. No. One and done, dude. First thing in the morning.
Really?
Prop it up and it stays all day.
Is it Elmer's or Super?
I'm gonna get some sponsors for hair product, okay? For next week's podcast. Episode 168, we'll talk about hair product.
And what brand of glue do you use to keep it?
Well, I'm not being endorsed yet to talk about it, but I guess
I want to.
It's called Got to Be Glued by Schwarzkopf hair products.
Is that what it's called for real?
Yeah, for real. Got to be glued. It's like you just need a little tiny bit, and you just rub it in there, and you go in there like that, and then you kind of just adjust it, and then it dries, and you give it a little quick hairspray and a hair dryer to set it. You're good for 24 hours at least, man.
I want to see what it looks like without it.
Yeah.
Without any of it in, and with it just flat. I want to see what your hair looks like.
Oh, it's long. It's like down to here.
Is it really?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That is a rock star look. Tammy loves it.
Yeah, love it. Thank you.
Teresa's in Mobile, Alabama. Amanda's in South Texas.
Howdy.
And Christina said she's Jersey girl, born and bred.
Nice.
Me too, except I'm not a Jersey girl. I'm a Jersey
guy.
fella. Jersey fella. So I'm gonna take a sip of wine here.
It's all right, man. Jersey guys, Jersey gals, Jersey's the place to be.
Sure is.
Right now, at least, anyway. Tonight.
So busy week. Started Monday with the last Final Four game was here in New Orleans, which is
Yeah.
the NCAA basketball tournament, the end of March Madness. And the game was UNC, which is North Carolina, and Kansas, #1 ranked. And Wichita, and good timing, Jamie checking in from Wichita.
Yeah, Kansas.
And so a lot of people in town, obviously, for Final Four.
But
And
Steve, let me ask you a question. Did Kansas just get the win or not?
I don't know what you're singing there. Oh,
Dust
like
in the
Dust in the
Wind.
Wind?
Come on, man. Thank you, Jerry over here. He's all over, man. He's like, dude, come on.
Well,
You know, he's a new guy too. Jerry is here for Jerry. Jerry.
this is probably the best advice you can give anybody, and appropriate for the Wisdom Hour. B. B-E. Just B. I think he was probably trying to type
Let
something
it be.
else. But, Ryan's in Hawaii. I'd love to be in Hawaii there too, Ryan.
Yeah.
Ryan, do you play a lot in Hawaii? Are there gigs there? Because I want to move there and play in Hawaii. Adam's in San Antonio. Tammy's in Newark, Ohio. So yeah, a lot of people in town. But the game started at 8:20 our time, and we start at 7:15. So when we started, it was like a ghost town, because most of the people that were in town were there for the game. So we did have some people in the room, but it was very slow for the beginning of the night. And then Ryan said he plays every weekend on the Big Island in Hawaii.
Wow,
I got to come out there, Ryan.
Yeah,
6 years running with the same band. I like it. I got to come out there and check it out. I really want to go to Hawaii, like yesterday, or Perth, Western Australia.
I think music is so universal, Steve. You could probably find a gig anywhere.
I think so too, especially since we have this Cover Band Central thing. You know,
that might help a little bit.
Yes, it might help. So yeah, slow night at first Monday, and then we didn't know. We don't do the same amount of sets every night. We do, for those of you who don't know, I play on Bourbon Street, New Orleans. We do a certain amount of sets, and a set is considered 45 minutes. But we will sometimes play several sets in a row, 2 sets or 3 sets in a row, sometimes even 4. So we didn't know how many sets.
Is there a typical standard amount of sets you'll play? Like, is 3 the average, or it could be 2, could be 5? It just depends?
It depends on how many people are in town, or how many people are coming in the bar and spending money. That's really it.
Okay, so like on a good night when people are there from when you start, how many sets could you potentially play? Like, could you play 17 sets till like sunrise? No. Oh.
No. I mean, I guess we could, but I mean, physically that would be very difficult. And
well, for the guys in the band that aren't drummers, of course, who are just the mere mortals assisting.
And by 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, it dies down. People go to their hotels or they go home or whatever.
So you may play from like 7 o'clock your time till 3 a.m. potentially.
It's extremely rare to play that late. Okay. But we will play almost always. We get at least 5 sets. The average is generally about 5 or 6 sets. That's generally what we do. 7 is pushing it. 7 is a lot. Last night we only did 4, but there weren't a lot of people around. And Jason was injured. Jason, our drummer in the band, who it's his birthday today, he got injured. It's his birthday today.
Happy birthday, Jason.
It was we were done playing, and there are some homeless people that hang out around Bourbon Street, and some of them are this sort of group of people, sort of I forget what the name is. It's a sort of a demeaning name, but that people call them. But they're a group of people. They dress all sort of the same. They're dirty, and so this guy was outside, and he was starting shit with the manager, and ended up like grabbing him and wrestling him, taking him down, and it was all sorts of scuffling. And then Jason got involved, and I actually saw this on video last night. This happened Wednesday night, but I saw the video of it last night. And Jason was being cool, and he was telling this guy, he's like, calm down. He's trying to bring him to the side, and he's like, calm down. And the guy was upset that he had lost his weed. And he's like, I want my weed back.
Hey, dude, that's a valid concern. Maybe he's
The homeless guy. Well, I think he was thinking like somebody took it or whatever. But he's like, getting all upset about his weed. And Jason was calming him down. It's like, we'll find your weed, man. And I could see him in the video. It's like patting him on the back. And then the guy starts walking away. And then he picks up a beer bottle, and goes right for Jason and just whacks him right in the back and the shoulder, as hard as he could. I mean, there was an impression on Jason's back 24 hours later where you could see like the little ridges on the bottom of a bottle.
Yeah.
Where you could see it on his skin.
Wow.
So playing last night, he was hurting, he's playing, it was his left shoulder, and he's like, or no, yeah, it was his left shoulder. So
Yeah.
he's trying, he's like, I could barely lift my arm to hit the cymbal. And, God bless him. He was trying. So he got through the night, but
Hey, the show must go on, dude.
Fortunately it was a slow night, and we only really needed to do 4 sets. So that worked out well for him because he didn't want to play any more than that.
And where's the law enforcement personnel while this
were not
going on, and bottles are being things and bags of weed are being lost?
They were not present. I don't know. They're scattered about, law enforcement. It's weird because I mentioned this the other night, Monday night, the night of the last game, right by our club. It's the corner of Bourbon Street and St. Peter, and there was like a barricade, and there were 10, I counted 10 state troopers just standing there. And like some of them were texting on their phone or looking at Facebook, and so there was one that was on their phone. And I was like, why are they all just standing right there? And they were there for a while, at least a half hour, at least until we started playing. They were just standing there. And so I don't know. I don't know why.
Maybe they're waiting for the band to go on.
No, I think that's unlikely.
Okay.
I don't think they really care.
Hey, you never know, man. Law enforcement can be fans of music too, Steve.
That's true. But as far as where they were when that altercation happened, no clue. They weren't around. It just
happens to be that the police and law enforcement come to your residence when you're having band practice and your neighbors complain. But other than that, they probably enjoy music themselves. They just don't like it when they have to be called in to put it to a stop to it.
Right. So
big bummer.
Anyway, so that night, but that night, Monday night, that when all those cops were there, it started slow, and we did 2, I think, and broke, and then I think we did another 2 and broke, and then came back up, and we did another double. So we ended up doing 6 sets, and by that last 2 sets, it was jam packed. The game was over.
Yeah,
and people, it was wall to wall people. So it's interesting, the dynamic, how it changes during the course of the night, and that's pretty typical here on Bourbon Street. But so that was
it's always been hit or miss, like you said, up and down. It could be ghost town, and then 15 minutes later, it's standing room only.
Yes,
just the nature of how it works down there.
So that was the beginning of my week. Let me just Steven said like it's a marathon for sure. He knows the deal.
Yeah.
Adam says lately standard is 3 1-hour sets with 2 30-minute breaks. That's a standard kind of club bar gig way to go about. Yeah. Leo says usually 8 to midnight or 1 a.m. with 2 20-minute breaks. All right. So then I think Tuesday was a good night. And then, I mean, I have a lot to say about this, and I kind of picked a topic based on stuff, but Wednesday, I just want to say that was slow early. And then this pack of, it was probably about 1 set into the night. And then this pack of people that they were all wearing like purple jackets or shirts or whatever. And some of them had the white sort of frilly shirt in there.
Were they part of the homeless gang that was beating up on Jason?
No. Oh. And a lot of them were carrying plastic, like blow up guitars, those plastic ones.
Yeah.
And a lot of them had black curly afro type of wigs on. So they all looked like they were dressed like Prince, basically. So we were playing a song. I saw him walk in. This was Wednesday night, and we had a guy subbing with us that night. He was subbing on guitar, but for that song in particular, he was playing drums, and Jason was taking a break. And I as soon as I saw it, I mean, it was like 20, 25 people. Just like the room was
25 Prince clones all of a sudden filled the room.
All of a sudden, just like out of nowhere, they just all walked in the room, and
Did
they're all
anybody
like
take a
going
picture? You got a video?
I didn't get anything. I hope
Someone's
somebody
gotta
else
have
did.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. And they get up to the bar and they're whatever we were playing, they're dancing, they're singing, they're all psyched. So I lean into Adam because the other singer I knew wouldn't know it, but I leaned into Adam. He's playing Jones. I said, "Do you know Purple Rain on vocals?" And he goes, "Yeah." So because I knew immediately, all right, we got to do a Prince song, because
right.
these people. So when that song ended, I got on the mic. I was like, "I'm going to take a wild guess here, guys. You guys are fans of Prince?" And they all kind of cheered. And then they said they're with a company. They said, "We're the Purple People." And they with some company where there was some purple thing. So they all decided to dress like that.
Okay.
And then from then on, they stayed all night. They stayed through our break. And then when we came back, they stayed for the
camped
rest.
out. Yeah.
They stayed for the rest of the
That
night.
was home base.
But then that started a whole thing where people were coming in, and again, jam-packed all night on Wednesday night. So, but yeah, like Adam says, Purple Rain always kills. So we did it, and then we ended up doing it later again because somebody requested it, a paid request for it. So that was.
And was the Prince gang still there when you did it again?
Oh yeah.
Huh.
And they don't know any difference. They're drunk. They're like, hey, Purple Rain. They, ask half of them, they would say, "Oh yeah, you didn't play it before." What are you trying to read there? A comment?
Right. Yeah. It says Ryan Tanner says his ukulele player will be in New Orleans end of the month. Wants to know when and where you're playing, so he come check you out.
Oh, okay, right. Oh yeah, let me put that up on the screen there. Sorry, I missed that, Ryan. I play at a club called Crazy Corner at 640 Bourbon Street, and I play Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday nights starting at 7:15. So yeah, definitely tell him to check us out. I don't know if he'll come and play ukulele with us, but you never know.
Do you guys do like Tiptoe Through the Tulips or any type of ukulele covers like that?
No, but I'll learn it.
Okay.
I'll tell all the guys to learn it just in case.
It's got a pretty intricate drum part, so Jason may have to work on it for a little bit of time. But he says he's there for the month, so he's got a couple of weeks to figure it
out. At New Orleans, end of the month for a week. No, he's there for a week.
Yeah, but end of the month, so I'm saying he's got time to.
Oh, I see. Oh, they do country music. Okay. Okay, I didn't know this. Christine gave a little factoid here. Said purple is the color to represent all of the branches of the military. April is the month of the military child. The color is also purple. Did not know that. Learn something new every day. How about that?
See that?
But they were definitely dressed like Prince. So that, maybe they just decided because they're purple, they should be like Prince.
There are no coincidences, Steve.
That's true. But that was really cool. That was fun.
A whole bar full of Princes, man. Love it.
Congas go well with ukulele. Congas?
Congas. C-O-N-G-A.
Congas. He meant congas?
Yeah, congas.
Is that what he meant?
Yeah, like
maybe that's a different way to spell it. Conga.
Could be.
I don't know.
Cowabunga. Conga, Steve. Conga.
So last week, our singer Ross, I think it was on Monday or Tuesday, I don't remember which day, but he had to go to the emergency room. He was experiencing chest pains, and then he was out for the remainder of the week, and then came back this week, and he's okay. He had they just said high blood pressure. There was nothing else they found wrong with him, so that was good.
He was not accosted by the homeless gang.
No, thank God it wasn't.
The way they knocked
I feel
him
like
out,
I have something in my teeth.
Kicked him in the chest. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But he was out. He didn't do Wednesday or Thursday with us this week. He just did Monday and Tuesday. So we needed to get somebody to sub because we only had like a 4-piece with one singer, and because it's a long night, we need more than one singer. I do sing some songs, the guitar player sings some songs, but you still want to have like two really like good lead singers,
Okay.
or at least a bunch of people that can sing, so you can kind of divvy up
Yeah, you can
the work.
rotate.
Yeah. So we got our friend Adam, who is a keyboard player primarily, but plays guitar very well. He could play bass very well, and he could sing very well. So he came in Wednesday. That was the Purple People night, and did a killer job. And it's great having, and I said it there that night, it's great having a utility guy in the band, somebody that knows multiple instruments,
Mm.
and especially for long nights for us where somebody needs a pee break.
He
So
could jump on a different instrument, sure.
right, so that's why he was playing drums when the Purple People walked in, and he put, he jumped on bass for me one song when I had to go pee or whatever. And then the other guitar player could take a break because he's playing guitar. So I picked this topic today. Steven said he wishes he was in town. He would have done it for sure. Um, about subs and about fill-ins, and I asked the question in the description here about how often, like, what do you do if you need a sub all of a sudden, or somebody to fill in like at last minute? Do you have a list of people that you would go to? And asked about, like, do you work as a sub yourself now? And we can go back, we've told this before too, but we can go back to our history where I met you
Hmm.
as because I was subbing for your band at the time, which was back in 2004 or 5, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And and then ended up playing with the band all the time for a while.
Yeah.
And so I've worked as a sub for a long time, even, well prior to that, I was still working as a sub for a lot of bands. And I still do it to this day. I still get calls for it to this day. And it has really helped me in my career get work, and if I have a night off, get just a fill-in gig here or there. Um, and I wonder how, I know it's kind of the nature of this place, Bourbon Street, where we play so often. It happens all the time where people need a sub or where people work as a sub. But I'm curious to know how often that happens with other bands in other places. Do you, like, for instance, does your band have, like, would you just cancel a gig if somebody couldn't make it, or would you have somebody that you could call?
Traditionally, in the past, I think before, when right around the time I joined the band, they had one or two other backup guys, so if they had a problem where the drummer couldn't make it, they had another drummer they can go to, or they have a pretty good network of people where they could solicit a sub if they needed it.
Okay.
But now, 2 years later, everyone sings in the band. Everyone, it's more of a unit. It's a show now. So in that instance, it would not be feasible for them to get a substitute drummer, we'll say, just to fill in, because it wouldn't be, how could I explain it? You're not stepping into a situation where, like Bourbon Street, right? Everyone knows the same songs, and everyone's like, our band does a lot of eclectic B-side type of songs. So not
Right.
everyone's gonna know the songs, to do it, and then we have segues, and like I said, it's more of a show. So for
Right.
someone to learn all of that, like, on the fly, just to be ready to be able to be called as a sub if we needed one, is not very likely. So,
Hmm.
currently, as we are now, correct. If someone can't make the gig, we would cancel the gig. We wouldn't get a sub,
Right. Okay.
you know? And even traditionally in the past, except for the time I subbed with you, we had a couple of substitute guys, but it's the same situation. I've always been in bands, at least up in this neck of the woods, where like you've done. I've subbed with the Elevators or
I was gonna say
bands that
Elevator
we
too.
know. Yeah, sure. Ed Gunderman and Friends. I mean, there's plenty of bands and friends of mine, people I know, that will call me, but 9 times out of 10, I'm gigging when they ask me to sub.
Right.
So I don't get the opportunity
Right.
as much. But there was a stretch there where, like, Chuck needed a drummer for Elevators, and I probably did 10 gigs with him, while I
Right.
was in my regular band, until he found a steady guy. or steady
Right.
gal in that case, you know? But
Right.
yeah, so it's not so, at least not in this. I think more so maybe in some of the circles that Kel runs in now, play with Mr. Lovejoy and all those guys, they kind of rotate because they do like duos, trios, full bands. They mix it up, just again, utility guys that can play multiple instruments. So they might, do a duo where the singer's playing drums and singing and the keyboard player is doing it, or the drummer's singing and the guitar player's playing with them, or Kel's subbing for one of their other friends' bands.
Right.
But it's not as prevalent, I don't think, at least, from my knowledge, what I see up here, as it is down in Bourbon Street. It almost seems like down by you, it's a given thing where if you're a musician and you're on, the scene, you have a network of, you have 50 people that would know your name that, would call you potentially at any given time. Because
Right.
remember, you guys are playing a lot more often. You're playing 4 or 5 times a week sometimes, We're playing once or twice a week, max.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I got a call last weekend or a text last Friday to ask if I would play a wedding on Saturday night, and I turned it down.
Mm,
Um, Only because I had so much other work to do, like cover band central stuff, and I was really looking forward to just doing that work. And then I got that text. I'm like, oh, and so I turned it down. And then I got asked a couple days ago if I would play tonight, Friday and Saturday out Floribama, which is the border of Florida and Alabama,
mhm.
with a southern rock band, and the pay was pretty good. But I turned that down too because I'm like, I'm busy with other stuff. So
Well, that's
I
just it.
just
You could be playing 7 days a week if you really wanted to, but then you get
uh,
nothing else done.
yeah. So it's a good problem to have. But being available to be a sub is it really enhances your whole career and your potential of getting work. And then quite often you'll sub with somebody and you'll get hired for the band, like happened with Outskirts.
Mhm.
Um, and that's happened to me more than once. So, and I think the type of instrument you play matters. I think being a bass player, it's a little bit easier to be a sub, um, because a lot of obviously you need to know a lot of songs too. That's
Mhm.
a lot, and I know a lot of songs. But it's also kind of easier to pick up on songs that you don't know if you're familiar with it as a bass player, maybe as a drummer too. Because if you're just hitting two and four, at least you're not, train wrecking the band.
Yeah,
But
no, for sure, but you can always tell if a guy's faking it or if he really knows the tune,
yeah, right, right,
from a drummer's perspective, right?
right,
And the real pros are the guys that can fake it, that don't know the song, but you think that they do,
right,
or they know enough of it where they could seem like they've really got it nailed down,
right,
but sometimes
right.
they just don't, There's certain key parts of some songs where if they don't know the song and someone's not cueing them, they're gonna miss it
Mm.
for sure.
So Marianne said she has a list of go-to subs for guitar and drums. They're all part of our rock and roll family, and
Mhm.
that's like you alluded to with Bourbon Street, the musicians around here. It's a big kind of family down here.
Yeah,
Um,
you got a big network, and like you said, as being a sub, you grow your network and you're going to be guaranteed to get work. So it only
right,
benefits you to be, if you can, to be a sub.
right. But as Liam pointed out, it's hard enough to get committed members for your regular band. So that everybody has a different experience with this. Um,
Well, that's the challenge, Steve. When you find the magic, like I feel like finally in the band I'm playing in right now I'm experiencing a chemistry and a magic that I haven't experienced in like maybe 2 or 3 bands ago. So it's very exciting. Yeah, see, like Bernard's saying, it's all about chemistry. So when you find those people that you can make music with that are all vibrating at the same frequency, emotionally, intellectually, everyone's on the same wavelength, everyone gels, and after a bunch of gigs, it's really feels good. That's hard. Like I said, once you find that, it's not so easy to have a sub, right? Because it's not like you're just playing a bunch of a ton of different songs like out of your repertoire of hundreds, right? It might be a
right,
show of like the same 30 or 40 songs that you rotate, depending on the club. But like I said, I will say that it definitely is, it's a blessing to find people to play with that you click with, that is, the chemistry works. And
right,
once you have that, people have to appreciate that because it doesn't come around all that often. And we've spoken about that. Like when you and I met and played, we had instant chemistry. I
right,
mean, we locked immediately, like we had been playing together for years.
right. And yeah, when I go in, and I think this is an important part of the discussion, if you are a sub, um, when I go into a situation where I'm subbing, I want to make sure that I'm doing the best job I can so that the rest of the band can do the job that they would normally do.
Right.
So,
Right.
and it's a little easier as a bass player. I can kind of just sit back and observe and, not rock the boat too much. Just, and I want to support, whatever the band has already established. So I do it often. I mean, I'm doing this gig in Tunica once a month now, a casino gig. It's 3 nights, and I'm doing this coming week. I'm going back up, and it's with a band I played with 5 years ago, um, and they're more of a wedding corporate band. Um, but this is kind of a sub gig for me because I'm not their regular bass player.
Right.
I just do this one gig. It's a little more than a sub gig, I guess, because I was in the band for a little while and, I know them well, but it still is really kind of a sub gig. It's, you know,
I think it's like you said too. It's maybe it's easier to sub on bass than it would be like on drums, because the guys in the band have said that to me. Like when they did have to get subs when I wasn't there, it's stressful for them. You know what I mean? Because maybe the tempos are different or the guys feels different. You know what I mean? It's not your regular gig where they're excited to show up, plug in, and let's go play a show. They got to
right,
show up, plug in, and it's like, is the guy going to know the breaks? Is he going to know the stops? Is it going to, oh, he doesn't sing background. He doesn't sing. So that means we can't do these 7 or 8 songs. And he doesn't sing any background. So we'll have to figure out something. These songs will sound empty. It's just a different vibe to go through. And that's why I guess, like you said, we just would cancel the gig because, again, we're only playing twice a month, 3 times a month, maybe, and that's all we want to play. So we're
right,
actually turning down gigs, or moving gigs around for better paying gigs and trying to push them to other parts of the calendar that are less busy, you know?
right.
Like I said, I probably got 26 or 27 gigs on the books,
That's awesome.
So
Um,
yeah, it's been good.
so Bernard said, when I sub, which is Harley, it's about the band and their crowd. I try to make the band sound as good as possible, which is kind of
Yeah.
like what I was
Sub's
saying
job.
before.
Absolutely.
He said, I support solo acoustic artists. It's about making them sound as great as possible. As possible. It's not about me. And he looks like he's a guitar player. So
Yeah.
yeah. Um, Rachel said, I love subbing. I also always make sure I know the material. Super important. And that's something that I always worked on a lot. If I had a sub gig, I would prepare. If I had time to prepare, I would prepare as much as possible. Know the songs, learn the songs that I needed to learn, and make sure I went in prepared.
Yeah. And that's going to ensure that you're the first call guy next time they need a sub. If you're
Right.
known as the unprepared guy all the time, your phone's probably not going to be ringing that
Or
often.
even once.
That's what I mean. It
Once.
only takes once
Yeah.
or twice, and then the word travels pretty quickly that, hey, that guy's not good.
Yeah.
You know? That
Yeah.
George guy, man, he's got to watch out for him. He's not reliable at all.
Right. You
George
never
was
know.
late. He was late today, so I'm just giving a little busting his chops a little bit.
Curious,
Yeah.
George.
Ha ha. Yes, indeed. Are you curious, George? Yeah, no, he's not.
Is that okay? He's quiet though.
He's very quiet. They're all quiet. We're on air, Steve. Come on.
Oh, that's right. Very professional over
Trained.
there
A very
at
professional crew.
Tony B headquarters.
It's world headquarters, man. My crew is second to none,
Right.
bar none.
Who are
Okay.
you today? Tony, the one and only.
Yes, as I was last week because I didn't get a chance to change it, but I'll come up
Ah,
with something good for next week. Don't you worry, okay?
okay.
TB.
Um, so the culture here in New Orleans, definitely there's a lot of subbing going on. But I'm really happy that I did it early because that kind of weaned me into this lifestyle here. But it is really almost a weekly thing where we have to get a sub for our band. And generally, like you said, because we know each other, it's not, it's somebody we're familiar with that we know is going to come in and do a good job.
Who you've probably played
Generally,
with before, also.
yes,
So,
most of the time. But there are times when there's somebody new that comes around or somebody new that I've never worked with before. It does happen. And I think it's, I mean, it happens really kind of on all levels because I was thinking about our friend Steve Brown, who was a guitar player from Trickster,
mhm.
which was an late 80s, early 90s band. And they had some success. And he's just a diehard worker. He's always out there. And I worked with him um, in a cover band too, and I was basically a sub in that cover band because I was never really in the band. He would just call me once in a while, "Hey, can you do Friday night?" And I would. So I played with him a lot, and with Sugar Belly too. Actually, with Sugar
Yep.
Belly before them, Sugar Belly, I was a sub too. Um, and that's kind of what started that whole thing off for me was because I went out one night. I was working at Guitar Center, and after the show, or after work, we went to across the street. There was this place on 46, and Sugar Belly was playing, and we drank, we got hammered, and then I kind of knew PJ and I kind of knew Steve, but I got up and PJ had me get up and play a song, and this girl Annie was the drummer.
Yep.
I think trying to remember who was singing back then.
Was PJ the guy we were supposed to play with Noosh?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
No, that was PJ Zitarosa.
Different PJ.
Yeah, PJ Farley from Trickster.
Gotcha.
So I got up and I played a song, and then and I was hammered, but I still played it well somehow. And then the drummer said to PJ, "I guess we found your new sub."
There you go.
He said it right there out loud, and sure enough, that's what happened. I got called for gigs for that band to sub, and because PJ was getting tours and he was out a lot, so I ended up subbing in that band for Big Orange Cone. I was subbing. Um, and that got me kind of in that whole the A-list Jersey circuit,
Mm.
which really helped me out tremendously, and it gave me a lot of confidence in doing that, and stepping into a situation. Um, but Steve Brown played with Def Leppard for a little while
That's
because
right.
Vivian Campbell was having cancer issues,
Hmm.
and he subbed. He went in and subbed for Vivian Campbell within Def Leppard.
Yeah. Hey, dude, a sub is a sub, whether it's in a garage
Right.
band, a working cover band on Bourbon Street,
Right.
or a professional band. I mean, they were just talking about that today. I saw an article that was mentioning about, is this the end of the Foo, or are they going to try to find somebody to sub for a little while? I know Nine Inch Nails and Chili Peppers have taken some gigs that Foo was headlining.
Chili Peppers took the Jazz
Yeah,
Fest
Jazz
spot.
Fest gig.
Yeah.
Yep, yep.
Yeah. Just found
Yeah,
out
and
about
I
that
think
today.
Nine Inch Nails took 2 other gigs, one in Boston and one somewhere else, I forget where, but,
Right.
um
So yeah, so you're subbing on an entire band level too.
right, exactly, so listen, it's all who you know, and right, it's all networking, and all these guys know each other, and it's just a different level.
Yeah. But then all the way down, like Tom says, if a solo artist can sub at any time and save the day, you know, why not give them more gigs?
Right, absolutely.
So down to that. And Tom said it's also good just to have fun with it. Absolutely. If you go in as a sub and you do a good job and you have fun, home run. You're going to get yourself some work. People are going to talk about you.
It's all about the fun and the energy. You definitely have to come out and bring it whether you're a sub or you're playing in the band, because that makes or breaks the gig. If you don't want to be there or you're not bringing your A game, it's going to show
Right.
100%, and
Yeah.
you're going to feel it more than anything, right? Like I said, it's like knowing a song like the back of your hand. You're going to play it different than a song that you maybe don't know as well. You might be a little tentative.
Agreed. And I feel that's why it's really good to know a lot of songs and to keep a running list of songs that you know, like in a Word document, alphabetical, maybe by genre, even. Uh, to keep a list of songs that you know, if you're going to be a sub, especially if you're a singer. And it blows my mind how many singers that I've worked with that I ask them, "Do you have a list of songs you know?" No, I don't have a list. No, I don't have a list.
Yeah, and on top of the list, have a set list that you can listen to, right? This way you keep them fresh in your mind, because you may not, you might know 1,000 songs, right? But you're
Yeah.
definitely not playing 1,000 songs, over the course of a year. There's going to be
You mean like
probably,
a master song list, right?
yeah, like if you said, I probably know 500 songs that I could play if you asked me, right? If we sat here and started making a list, I probably know 500 songs, right? You probably know more than that.
Oh
But I'm
yeah.
saying it reached a point where, you know, maybe song 472 you haven't played in 3 or 4 years. So you have to also examine the relevancy of your song list too, right? If there's songs but nobody's playing them anymore.
Right.
I mean, at least for me, like I don't typically forget songs once I learn them. So,
Right.
I rarely have to go back and re-listen to it if I've played the song. But
Right.
if I haven't played the song in 10 years, yeah, I probably wouldn't be able to sit down and play it
Right.
exactly the same as I did when I used to do it every night.
Right. But it helps to just have that list written down. I love lists. It makes me. I'm a very organized person, and it makes me, might be able to focus easier. Anytime I've been in a band where there was a set list or song list, and I had either a hard copy or digital copy, I've kept it. I have a file for it. I have a whole file for going back 20 years of list, more than 20 years of bands song lists, and anybody that I had that subbed when I was running a band, especially here. I had a band called Saint Rock, and I was the band leader. So anybody that subbed for me, any singers, I have their song list, and I still have it. I have it in a file, and it helps because you never know when you're going to need it. And one of the guys that would sub and is playing with us now, so I'm actually using that list from whenever that was, 4 or 5 years ago, more than that, 6 years ago. Yeah, about six years ago, I was in that band. So
Cause you're a list man, writing down everything he can.
Adam said I got into the country genre by subbing,
Mm,
and that's good money. He looks like a drummer there.
yeah,
We don't see him, but we see
money. You see
drums.
green drums. I like that.
Dave said combine your lists and wing it. Sure. Um, Fabio said I somehow turned out to be the problem solver for many bands in town. There you go. It's good.
Nice. See that?
I'm sorry, what were you going to say?
You
Okay,
guys
go.
do any winger?
No.
Do you know any winger?
Um, I could get through 17 if I absolutely had to, but it's not. Winger isn't like everybody kind of cuts on Winger, but they're great musicians.
Excuse
Rod
me. Yeah, no.
Morgenstein.
Oh yeah, and Kip Winger's. He's a brilliant songwriter.
Yeah, but it wasn't. At Red Beach, Rod Morgenstein, killer musicians. So
Yeah,
it's
great
not.
band.
It's actually not as easy as you might think to know a Winger song. Even 17 is.
Oh, they're very
It's
competent musicians that are playing the song for sure.
yeah. Yeah, I'm a fan actually, and he said Steven said "Down Incognito" is an amazing song. I don't know that one. Um,
But yeah, Kip Winger does a lot of stuff, man. He's not just his claim to fame isn't just his band Winger. He's done a ton of other stuff.
there's a song off the second album called "Under One Condition." That's one of my favorite Winger songs.
Mm.
And then there's
Does he explain what that one condition is?
kind of
Okay, it's good to know.
you'll have to listen to the song.
I guess so.
Google it.
I'll get George. I'll get Curious George. You could look it up. I guess
Dave
my
said Dave
computer
said
on
I was the only person in the band who knew "Easy Come Easy Go." Unfortunately, the rest of the band were fans. "Easy Come Easy Go" is from the second album.
Yep.
I think it's from the second album. Yeah. That's a cool song too. I don't really hear Winger much ever.
No, me neither.
"Headed for a Heartbreak." That's the other one. What a great
Right.
song that is. The
Yeah.
solo at the end, it's just like kind of improvising sounding, but Red Beach is just
Yep.
riffing and like, awesome, man. I love that song.
Good stuff. How about any Striper? You do any Striper?
No.
The Bobby Sherman song.
We did get a request this week for "Run to the Hills" by Iron Maiden, and we didn't play the whole song. We played the first two verses, or the first verse, chorus, and that was it. And we ended it there.
And did the guy take back half his tip?
No, he was happy
Okay.
because we were like we're not sure, and they were like, and we said we'll try a little bit. There was a girl actually requested Iron Maiden.
We did that when I had a gig. A buddy of ours came out to see the band, and, like, make a spectacle. Like, stood up and he's like, "I want to hear like Squeeze Box by the Who,"
Ooh,
and we're like, "Okay." So I'm like, I know it, and then a couple of other guys in the band knew it, and we ended up doing it. And
nice.
I don't know if you might have even been in the band, Steve. It was either you or Zach. It was like back around those times.
I could play Squeezebox
Yeah,
on
so
bass.
you might have been there when we did it.
I know Squeezebox.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of the Who. In fact, I'll be going to see the Who at Jazz Fest in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
They're playing on
It
the,
might be their last tour. I've rumor has it.
they've been doing a last tour for
Yeah, but they're saying
30
really now,
years,
like they're Pete Townsend was saying that he's this may be the last
40
one.
years.
Yeah.
My first ever concert was the Who in 1982 for their farewell tour 40 years ago.
Yeah.
So,
So Kenny
uh,
Jones on drums.
Kenny Jones on drums.
Yeah.
So last tour, I don't believe it. I'll only believe it when Pete or Roger dies. And Roger's like 80.
Well, he said he would keep touring nonstop, but Pete Townsend said he doesn't want to die on the road.
That's admirable. Adam
Yeah.
said Run to the Hills drumming is like Everlong on steroids. Yeah.
Yeah.
A
Nicka.
lot of 16th notes.
Oh yeah.
Everlong is, we play that now too. I sing it sometimes.
That's a great tune.
Goes over. It's so good now. And we started playing Mr. Brightside, which
Another great tune.
Everybody's been playing forever, but
Yeah.
all you have to do is start it, and then the crowd, if there's a crowd in there, they sing it.
Oh
They'll
yeah.
sing the whole
No doubt.
friggin' song.
No doubt. Yeah.
We
And there was
play.
actually, remember that show on TV? It was called I think it was Rockstar, and
Yes.
InXS did one where they were looking for the new
Yes.
singer, right? And there was they had the house band,
Yeah.
and I forget what episode it was, but they did Brightside for whoever the artist was that was singing for that song, and dude, the band was killing it, and the drummer totally overplayed the part, like he played his own part to it, and that was the part that I stole that I played when we used to do it. Because
Oh,
the guy
okay.
did fantastic fills, and just great. He just had great ideas. He's totally improvising on the song, but it was killer. Great tune.
That is killer. So I'm gonna go. I basically have somebody subbing for me tonight because I was asked to play a benefit
Right.
tonight, and I said,
Yep.
"Well, I got to do a podcast."
Episode 168 is not going to get done by itself.
167.
I know. I'm talking about next week,
No, I'm talking about tonight.
but I'm
I was
saying next
asked.
week I'm not going to be here.
Oh, you're not going to be here.
No, not next Friday. I have a gig.
Oh, all right.
So if you wouldn't have, if your dedication to tonight wouldn't have happened, we would have missed 2 weeks in a row,
I see.
and that would
I
have been
see.
that would have been very sad.
Right. Yes. Maybe I'll get somebody to sub for you.
Hey, Jerry, you want to sub next week?
Who wants to sub for Tony next week? Let me know.
I'll get someone from my crew. We'll do it. We'll put it together.
Let's see. Send an email to steve@coverbandcentral.com
Yeah.
if you want to sub for Tony.
Yeah, if you want to be a special guest in my place, let's do it.
Yes.
Then I could FaceTime you from the gig, and you could have me on as a guest.
There we go. See?
Live
Now that's
from the
using your
gig.
noggin. I like it.
All right. Yeah. See.
Yes. Let me know. I'll get somebody to
That was
sub for
Junior's
you.
idea, not mine. It's good thinking, Junior.
But so somebody's subbing for me. It's a benefit show for Jason. It's like I said, Jason, my drummer's birthday, and his daughter plays on a softball team, and they're doing a benefit to raise some money for the kids.
Nice.
So somebody subbing for me, but I said, Jason said, "Well, come after, come after you're done." I said, "Yeah, okay, I'll see if I feel like it, but I really feel like I should go, so I'm going to do that. So I'm going to cut us off a little bit early here." Leo said,
Steve. Well,
Leo
screen
said,
freeze. Uh-oh, somebody's screen's frozen.
His screen is frozen. Ours is fine.
Mine's great.
But coverbandcentral.com. Go there, sign up for a profile for you, your band, or both. It is free. And also, if you need a website, which you do, bandzoogle.com, go there, promo code coverbandcentral, and start your 30-day free trial.
Bandzoogle.
Oh, good. Steven said, great seeing you guys. Great seeing you too. All right. Well, take some notes at your gig next week and some video.
I will. And then make sure you call me live from the show. We got to figure out how to do that. How do we call people live from this show and FaceTime them in?
I don't know. We could figure it out, though.
We need to talk to the StreamYard team about that.
We'll figure that out.
Indeed, we will.
But have an excellent week and an excellent gig. And everybody out there,
Thanks,
you
brother. You
too have an excellent week and excellent gigs.
Excellent life. Be excellent to one another.
Be excellent to one another.
And be
And we'll
excellent to yourself.
yes.
Central.